Hello all, this is our math department virtual meeting in lieu of our department meeting that we canceled right before Thanksgiving break due to early dismissal. If you're interested in serving on this committee, please submit your name through the Google form found below this video, and hopefully they'll just be the people who volunteer themselves. That will be the committee. If there's not enough or if there's too many, then we'll go from there and make selections. But please, I know some of you are very knowledgeable of the sequence and which students should probably go in what tracks. So this may be a great opportunity for you to share that knowledge with your colleagues. Next, I want to talk about the semester's schedule. So as many of you probably have heard, that the district lost quite a bit of a sum of money due to our previous semester test schedule. So that has been extended a little bit, so our students are here longer during the day to recoup some of that funding. So our dates for testing are Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, December 18th, 19th, and 20th. And as normal, the odds 1, 2, and 5, or 1, 3, and 5, will test on Wednesday. 2, 4, and 6 will test on Thursday. 7th and 8th on Friday. But if you'll notice, the tests are 2 hours long. So make sure that when you're making the test, that it covers that class period. You're not using just a 10-question test for a 2-hour time period. There is a lunch built in, so you'll do 2 hours of testing, the lunch period, then 2 hours of testing again. Notice we get out at 2:30, a little bit earlier than normal, but the buses still run at 3:25, so students will be put in the cafeteria for that hour of holding time. If they have a ride, they will be dismissed with their ride. Students must obtain any administrator approval to take exams outside, so don't they have encouraged us not to be telling students that they can take test at different times or prior. They have to take it during their designated time unless they have administrator approval. Exemptions will be obtained on Tuesday the 17th. So for our new teachers, the way exemptions have worked is they will be given a sheet of paper. You come on, and they'll come around and you'll sign those. So you'll want to make sure that all of your grades are in and final pretty close, or by Tuesday, probably by Monday would probably be preferred. That way you can make a good determination as to their exemptions. And so teachers will need their grade books updated. So that way, again, you can make those exemptions. Students will be given a 0 any test that is not taken. So if they're not exempt and they don't come and take the test, they'll be given a 0. Teachers, all those grades will need to be finished by Friday before we leave for Christmas break. So let's talk about the exemption policy. And I know we have some new teachers, so I want to talk about how the semester grades are average. Many of us already know this, but just to remind you, the semester exam, if they must take it, is 15%. So that means you kind of average the first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, and the semester with those percentages. So 42.5% come from the first 9 weeks, 42.5% come from the second 9 weeks, 15% from the semester exam, creating your semester average. It is important to know that the yearly average is kind of what gets credit. So students have possibilities. This is important. If they don't pass the first semester, they can still get credit if their second semester average is high enough. So notice down here that the yearly average, they can still get credit for the year if the two first semester and second semester average to more than a 70. So sometimes people aren't aware of that. That's important to know. Obviously, we want students to get credit for each semester, but they can, if they've kind of slacked off this first semester, they can recoup. So those are some things that we might encourage our students. Obviously, if they're not taking the semester test, their semester averages come from a 50-50 split from first 9 weeks to second 9 weeks. So this again is in the grade policy handbook. So if you want to review that, that would maybe help you in answering questions for students and helping guide them into the next semester. If you haven't reviewed the exemption policy recently, it can be found in the grade policies handbook online. Here is a small section of it, the initial section. This will hit majority of your students. AP teachers, you need to read in more detail. There's some stipulations to the AP exam or AP courses. So pretty much in general, if a student has had ISS or a certain number of Thursday night schools and absences over 4, they are not exempt. Also, any EOC tested subject is not exempt. So Algebra 1 in this case does not qualify for exemption. All others do, with the exception of reading through the stipulations for the AP courses. But it is determined based on their grade how many absences they can have. So if they have 4 or less absences, they must have an A to be exempt. If they have 3 or less absences, they must have a B to be exempt. And if they have 2 or less absences, they must have a C. Obviously, anybody below a C is going to need to take their semester test. Absences, this is where students and parents get a little confused. Absences are any personal absence, whether it be excused or has a doctor's note or parent's note. Any absence that is for a personal reason is considered an absence for exemption. School-related absences do not count for this purpose, but any other absence, except for the case of juniors and seniors, they have 2 college day visits that do not count against their exemption. So they would have those recorded as such. So I would encourage you to go look in your grading policy handbook and look more in detail, just refresh yourself on that exemption criteria, and that way you can help students answer some of those questions. And these are some important dates that are coming up into the end of the semester. Hasn't been really publicized yet, but I have sent it to you, and we'll refresh or let you guys know that there's an EOC Prep Boot Camp this Friday and next Monday, and that will be for people who are needing to retest the EOC. So they could possibly be out just a morning or a morning and afternoon. So in the morning, the EOC boot camp is to kind of prep them to hopefully so we can get the retesters passed and they can get their EOC credits to move on to graduation. In the morning will be Algebra 1 and English 1, I believe, English 2, I think. And then in the afternoon is US History and Biology and English 1. So depending on how many retesters and what retesters, you may have some students out. That would be this Friday and next Monday. And following that, moving down a little bit, STAR testing would be the next week, will be next week. So STAR testing is the 10th, 11th, and 12th. I believe English 1 is on the 10th, Biology, Algebra 1, and US History are on the 11th, and English 2 is on the 12th, and the 13th is a makeup day. Going back up a little bit, just a reminder that this Friday is our end of our grading period, so progress reports go out. We also have a fire drill during third period. Next week's a busy week. We have staff meeting, which will go over some of the end of semester information. This may not pertain to us so much, but winter formal is happening next week. And our SPED documentation is due on the 17th, which, yes, that's before we actually go into semester tests. So what you need to do is make sure you fill out your documentation through the end of the school year, so through the end of the semester. So fill it out through the 20th, but we need to submit it on the 17th because we have to have, I think, it all done and solidified and gone through and all checked by the time we leave for Christmas break on the 20th. So you're going to kind of fill in that semester test date, whether they're exempt or whether their test accommodations will be followed. So that is due on the 17th, and then as we discussed, we have semester tests on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and then we are on to, and one last reminder, our district has challenged us to memorize the vision, mission statement, beliefs, and goals. And I know there's several of you who have already accomplished that and earned your coin and your jeans passes and all the things that go with it. So I want to encourage you guys to keep working on those, maybe over the Christmas holiday. Say them a couple of times in the mirror. Here are them, and I know Miss Carnes sent out some people who are more visual, maybe some brain triggers that'll help you memorize those. So I want to encourage you to keep working on that. English department already got all of their people have their coin, so I'm going to encourage the math department to do the same. And then on that note, if you also supplies, I know we're going to the second semester, so some people may be looking below on supplies, or some of your favorite pens are getting low. Please just let me know so I can get those ordered. And I know the computers are in. They're at Technology. All of the wireless adapters that we can connect to with our new computers that can be installed right now are installed. So hopefully in January we'll be able to all have our new technology and be able to go over how to incorporate that, how to successfully wirelessly project, and some different features. I know there's several of us that have used them and have been playing around and have found some things that are really useful. And so we'll be encouraging everyone to share those experiences. And thank you for your time. Let's just stay calm and make it to Christmas break. Have a great afternoon.